Time now for a spoken word on market themes with our chief equity strategist, John Blank, who joins me now. And John, as we sit here in mid-April, looking out to the future a little bit, to at least the next month, what are some of the market themes that you see carrying over from this month to next?
Good question, Terry. I put some slides together to get through this.
Okay.
And my first one today is going to be the wealth effect.
Okay.
We all know that housing has recovered, the stock market has recovered. And what this means is good news for anybody who plays to an advisory service in the equity markets. And so a pick that Zacks ranked number one in Outperform is Apollo Group, APO ticker. They are in private equity, they're in commercial real estate, and they're in all kinds of other investment businesses. So they have the mix that's targeting the benefit that's coming out of a wealth effect from a stock market. So that's my first theme.
Okay.
The next one I have is housing, which is a long time theme for a lot of analysts at Zacks and me included, and that's now about 9 or 10 months old. But I'm looking into parts of the industry structure that benefit from housing that may not be as clear to people. One is this company called Culp, which makes mattress ticking and upholstery. So if you think about buying a new bed or a mattress or reupholstering your furniture, these things are going to happen on a remodel or in a new home situation or with new furniture. So all of that should go up with housing, and this is a very attractive Zacks ranked stock that follows that trend.
Okay.
The other one I like, retail sales. You've got a stock market going up. We've seen consumer discretionary goods purchasing, consumer good purchasing overall doing quite well, and I expect it will hold up. Even in the face of the budget cuts and the payroll taxes, it's held up because the stock market and the housing effects are creating more wealth than we've seen in 15 years. So again, corrugated boxes, Packaging Corp of America, anything you buy, whether it's a store or internet purchase, is going to come in a corrugated box, and they're doing quite well.
Okay.
The other thing is infotech. Infotech is always a sector that gets an outperform rating by any sell or buy side sector analyst. Out of any 10 sectors, it'll always be at the top. Valuations, growth, whatever it is. But what we've seen recently is the memory chip market has gotten a big upgrade because these types of devices that use it, a company like SanDisk benefits from it. This is an area that people should look at for infotech. The other is just bulk shipping, transportation. We found that a lot of things are moving in a growing economy, in a stronger economy or a robust economy. A company like CP, Canadian Pacific, which is moving bulk commodities, is going to do well in this environment. And finally, GDP growth. GDP growth is always spoken about as the underpinning of a good fundamental. But what's interesting from an industry perspective is electricity rates, use of electricity must go up with GDP growth. So now we've seen actually in the last few weeks an upgrading of utilities because that utility use of selling the electricity is going up. Edison International, Southern California, utility is a really good example where the wealth effects, the housing effects, the GDP growth, infotech, all these themes are going to play out in rising electricity use for that region.
What about jobs?
Jobs, we have to wait for the next payroll report and really pay attention to it. I look to final revised numbers, not preliminary numbers. And people have to remember with payroll numbers, at the end of the day, the ADP number is targeting a final revised number. The government's targeting the temporary transient number. So we have to wait for the final numbers from the government. And that's the big issue for them.
So the jury is still out there.
The jury is still out.
Might that be something that puts a drag on the market rally that we've been seeing?
We'll have to see. We have so many other newsworthy things like Europe, the quantitative easing in Japan, the quantitative easing in the United States, and all of the earnings reports that are going to be percolating through in the next few weeks. That may take something like the payroll report and put it in a different context. And I think that is another thing we got to watch for is what will this market trade on? It's not clear anymore.
Overall, on the market rally, what do you see going on there? Maybe a pause, a little bit of a pullback. What about the second half of the year?
Terry, I still think that fair value in this market at this point in time is about somewhere between 1550 and 1570. So I expect a range trading fair value play to fluctuate around that number. The band of width will be how much fear, ebb and flow we get out of this market. And then what's going to happen in this market is summer. And what happens in summer is markets will start to trade on 2014. And so that will be the interesting thing here. We have been talking about on the website and other places the second half numbers.
Yep.
But what will happen in the summer is it will then not be only the second half, but the first half of 2014, which will drive this market. The market will turn towards those numbers at some point in time, and all these debates will actually just completely wash away.
Okay, John, thanks for that. Do you own any of the stocks that you mentioned in this piece?
No, I do not.
All right. John Blank giving us the spoken word on market themes going out through the springtime. With John, I'm Terry Ruffalo.